Leon continued this sacred ritual with deep reverence. He bowed his head slightly and greeted the goddess with sincere respect, saying, "Greetings to the great Earth Mother. Dear Demera, the divine being ruling over life and fertility." Demera's gentle voice echoed in response. "This new land is also being invaded by evil. The land is contaminated." Leon nodded and continued, "Yes, there are also evil species on this land. But there is no divinity here. So I'm afraid the lowly and vulgar swines might sully your eyes." In the background, Li Yongwan's face twisted with clear displeasure and disrespect after hearing Leon's words. Demera spoke once more, her voice calm and wise. "Ignorance and greed cannot always be judged as sins. Those are the built-in characteristics of a mortal." She then turned her gaze toward Leon and asked, "What do you plan on doing now?" Leon replied with quiet confidence, "It's not hard to blend in amongst the swordsmen, but the authority of a conqueror is divine." Leon stood tall, radiating divine authority. He declared with firm resolve, "I will make sure that duty and authority can be on equal grounds here. I will teach the ignorant and lead them to the right path, until a new pantheon arises on this earth." Demera, the goddess of life and abundance, looked at him gently and asked, "Child, do you not have a favor to ask of me? We are always ready." Leon replied with deep respect, "Dear Demera, the free citizens of this earth are suffering because of an evil energy. I am certain it is not something you desire to do, but please heal and purify this land." Demera smiled warmly and answered, "You are my temple's head, our champion." She then explained, "This world's earth is not my body. I will spread my divinity here and substitute this thirsty earth with my flesh." The goddess spoke, "Then everything that walks on this earth will be your ally." Then we see a droplet from the goddess fall on the ground. A brilliant light erupts from it. Leon stood powerfully in the middle of the golden-lit field, radiating divine authority. He declared with a firm and majestic voice, "Watch and learn." With overwhelming presence, he continued, "You, who are ignorant and cannot learn and cannot know." Bright golden energy exploded around him as he proclaimed, "This is a world that is blessed with divinity." The ritual reached its peak. Leon's voice echoed across the plains as he said, "Give birth and prosper. That is the righteous duty of a living being." But the peaceful moment was broken. Li Yongwan stepped forward, his face filled with rage and disbelief. He shouted loudly, "Everyone! Do not be fooled! Crops that are grown using magic are poisonous. I'm sure you know that." Leon turned his gaze toward the man, his expression cold. "What an ignorant fool," he said. "These are crops blessed with divinity. How dare you judge them as poison?" The red-haired man sneered and pointed at the straw doll. "That stupid straw doll." Before he could finish his words, an immense pressure filled the air. Leon's presence terrifying and absolute. He spoke with a freezing, commanding voice. "I can only forgive ignorance once. Do not dirty the goddess with your light tongue." The red-haired man staggered, clutching his chest in pain. The red-haired man clenched his teeth in panic. "Damn it, this can't happen," he thought. "My plan's about to be ruined all because of him." His mind raced with desperation. "I can't let that happen." With a sharp glare, the blue-haired man declared coldly, "I'll expose your blatant lies." The red-haired man turned to the crowd and spoke with forced calmness. "We still need to prove it. I hope you will cooperate for the sake of the people who will be eating this." His expression darkened as he thought, "I will frame you as a fraud. I'll provide the appraiser." The brown-haired appraiser stepped forward and said firmly, "Then, I'll begin." He raised his hands and began the appraisal ritual. Powerful blue magical energy surged across the field, swirling violently around the rice. The appraiser's eyes widened in shock. Sweat dripped down his face as he stared at the result. This is... A glowing blue window appeared before everyone. Blessed rice. Rank rare. Rice blessed by the divinity of Demera, the goddess of life and fertility. Tier 3 diseases will be cured with repeated consumption of this rice. The appraiser spoke aloud. "The rank is rare." The appraiser's eyes widened with pure shock as he shouted. All this rice is rare rank. And it cures tier 3 diseases and even cancer. The crowd erupted in disbelief. Really? Someone asked. Yes, really, came the excited reply. Manager stood silently for a moment, then he commanded. Someone, go get a pot from the chief's house. Soon, a large pot was brought to the field. The blessed rice was cooked, and its heavenly aroma filled the air. Manager took a bowl and began eating calmly. Suddenly, a blue system window appeared before him. Rice made from the blessed rice plant. Stamina recovery rate increased by 100 each minute. Mana recovery rate increased by 50 each minute. 8 hours total. Manager looked at the effects and said, This is basically a reinforcer. How can mere rice be the equivalent of a reinforcer that's worth 3,000,001 per bottle? The red-haired girl jumped up excitedly and screamed. Manager! Manager! This is big news! Manager looked at her and said calmly, Finish chewing before talking. Hari replied, I got curious, and ate a bug. The manager blinked in surprise. A bug? She continued, and I got a buff. Everyone around her reacted in shock. What? Manager's eyes sharpened as he realized the implications. If that blessing is really all over the land, then it's not weird if all living beings are also blessed. A wild excitement spread through the hunters. Get as many as you can. We're going into the gate with full buffs. The hunters immediately started chasing and catching insects all over the golden field, their motivation skyrocketing. Meanwhile, Leon stood quietly in the wheat field and spoke softly toward the goddess. Yes, dear Goddess Demera. Demera continued with a calm but firm voice. It seems like I have done what I needed to do here. I should go back. Leon replied humbly. I have, and never will, forget the divine love you have given us. The goddess's gentle voice echoed around him. Child, allow me to give you one last lecture. Make sure to feed yourself. A projection of real Goddess Demera appeared above the altar, shining with divine brilliance. The small straw doll on the platform fell down as Goddess went back. The red-haired girl looked at him curiously and asked, Your Majesty? What is? Leon stood with his back turned and spoke calmly. Divine power. Is there no God in this world? Girl replied with a serious tone. I'm not sure. Leon continued, a proper life and world is made with divine power. You earthlings better keep that in mind. Manager shouted. Now that the soldiers are full, we'll go into the gate. The red-haired guild members watched with dark expressions. One of them muttered nervously. Guild master, will it be okay? The red-haired guild master clenched his fists in anger and growled. At this rate, there'll be problems with our plan. That damn survivor bastard. He glared furiously and shouted. Damn it, where did he come from? If it weren't for him, the government wouldn't have had a choice but to listen to our request. The red-haired guild master glared with pure hatred and muttered viciously. I wish he would just die in the gate. The guild master suddenly paused, a dark smile forming on his face. He said, Ho, that's not a bad idea. You don't need to worry. This gate's already somewhat raided. The guild member replied. Right. The middle was a bit difficult, but there's only one A rank. Hari. Guildmaster's smile widened into a sinister grin as he continued. That survivor bastard is probably a blessing-type buffer. I bet he's shit when it comes to combat. Meaning, they will definitely fail. The scene shifted into the dark depths of the gate. A terrifying shadowy monster with glowing eyes emerged, radiating overwhelming power. Countless horrifying undead creatures with glowing eyes and twisted grins surged forward like a tide of death. Suddenly, a terrifying red warning window flashed before everyone. Dungeon break is beginning. Announcing death. All the lives of the living beings in the gate are now on countdown.